One of the most pleasurable duties that I'm called to perform from time to time is when a church asks for me to help them celebrate the retirement of their debt. And what we do is we go to the church, we have a wonderful Sabbath celebration, and we burn the mortgage. And so far we've been successful in burning only the mortgage and nothing else in the church. In the 9 or 10 years that I've been here, we've burned perhaps 1 or 2 mortgages in that time, until the last 6 or 8 months, when we've had no less than 7 churches request this kind of a celebration, and the mortgages have been burnt. Recently, we were here at the Albemarle Church, where they paid off their mortgage several years early.
Years ago, our little church was meeting for like fellowship dinner in a small room. We actually had to sit there with the plates on our lap and eat and juggle a drink, which usually ended up on the floor. And we knew we had to have a Family Life Center. And so the plans began. We knew that we needed this building so that we could reach out to the community. Yes, we did have to take out a loan. But the Lord blessed when we took out that loan. It was like the church came together. And part of that was due to Pop Ted Burris. He got going on calling people because he had promised his wife, and I'm going to let him explain that little situation to you.
When we started to build our church over in all, I wasn't happy with it whatsoever because I felt like there's too much expenditure to it. And therefore, I told my wife that that I was going to move to another church. And she looked me in the face and told me, she said, listen, this is our church. We're not going to leave it now because we know that it's ours and we're going to stay here and everything. And she said, now you'll promise me that you'll stay here, but 2. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll promise to stay. She said, but now you promise me another thing, that you'll help raise the money, because now you can raise money. Now you'll help me raise the money. Now, is that a promise? I said, that's a promise. She said, well, now I won't be living. She said, at my age, as you know, in my health, I won't be living. But the Lord might spare your life that you can, but you'll work till you die or have it paid off. I said, sweetheart, I'll promise you until I die, I'll work. After I'd done that, she and I together made a pledge of so much money to put in. And we kind of sacrificed in doing that and putting the money in, because she had her Social Security, I had mine, and so we together, we would combine and put in each month. We put in, but we did not fail to put in, no month did we fail.
Our original mortgage from the Southern Union Revolving Fund was to be paid off by the year 2019. After we got into the building, we realized that we would need to borrow some additional funds, which did extend the life of the mortgage. But we were able to pay this off in June of 2009, which was no less than 12 years earlier than it was to be paid off.
Now, meantime, I began to call people. I called individuals and asked them, well now, in other words, we got an expenditure here of so much money, and if you can do anything, I'd appreciate it. A lot of times they would commit themselves to how much they'd give, and in some cases it'd be quite a little sum. Well then, when I called the man in Raleigh and talked to him, and he told me, I'm going to send you $5,000. Then turn around again in a little bit, another few weeks or more, he called again and said, I'm going to send you 5,000 more. And he also said that next year I'll send you $9,000, but he passed away before that time.
And I think there was another church this spring, Morganton, which retired their whole debt in 2 or 3 years. This is a testimony to the faithfulness of God's people. And when we're faithful personally, that faith is evidenced in a corporate way in the church, and it's a witness to the community.
And then I called other people, and I'd tell them, I'd say, well, listen, now, can you give as the Lord blesses you? Because after all, this is the Lord's house. This is the Lord's work. Now, if you'll give accordingly as the Lord is blessing you, whether small or large, all of it, by being consistent, we can pay it off quick and all. And individuals, and then too, I'd have individuals that didn't put the money in, but they would give me, one day they gave me some dolls. And I called people around that had grandchildren and sold the dolls very quickly, and turned that money in.
I could not imagine myself as a treasurer still writing that monthly check when I was 80 years old. There was no way I was going to do that.
And I just think about my treasurer's mind is at work, thinking about what can be done now with these funds that used to be funneled toward debt retirement. Now, evangelistic series are being done. Poor and needy are being helped. Church facilities are being refurbished with money that used to go to retire debt. I praise the Lord for the faithfulness of our people and for the way it is exhibited in His church. And it's just a privilege to watch these things happen and watch the blessing of the Lord.
So the Lord has been wonderful. He's been good in every respect, and He's blessed us. And today, with the mortgage burned, and I look back and see how God has blessed me and give me to let me live this long, because the wife died at 92 years old, and I'm now 93 and a half almost. And so I feel like, what could you ask more of God when He will let you live if you keep your promise? And I kept my promise to my dying wife.